The next time you eat lemons or consume them, do not throw away the seeds inside, which are normally thrown away. With a few simple tricks, you can grow seedlings from them in just 7 days, not 4 or 5 months. In this video, I will explain, and not only that, I will show you all the steps you need to take to go from a seed to a plant that sprouts, grows, produces its first flowers, and produces its first fruits. So I recommend you follow it because I assure you, when you achieve these results, you will be truly happy you did. The first thing you need to do, which is actually the most important, is to find some good seeds. Then choose some fruit, the ones you like best. Keep in mind that at the end of the experiment, neither the variety nor the size are important. Instead, choose a ripe one, and once you find it, split it in half. If you manage to open it lengthwise, once it is open, even just use your fingers to remove all the seeds inside. First trick, cut the seed. Once you have extracted the seeds from the fruit, this is what you have obtained. You can then proceed and place them in a small pot with soil, and within about 2 to 3 months, you will start to see the first seedlings emerge. But if you do not want to wait all this time and spend about 7 to 10 days waiting, there is a trick that will allow you to do so. It is to open the seed by simply making an incision in the tip. This is the tip, clearly visible, and this is the lower part, what I call the butt because it is rounded. When you create the opening of the seed, you will need to make the cut right at this point, only about 2 millimeters from the tip downwards, otherwise you will risk damaging the seed, which will prevent the seedling from growing. To cut, simply take a pair of nail clippers and do this. Then pull it out, make a clean cut, and you are done. At the end of the process, this is what you have obtained. It will be from this slit, this opening, that the seed, if all goes well, will begin to sprout roots and shoots. Sowing plus experimentation. Once you have reached this point, you can proceed with the sowing process. However, in addition to sowing, I will also show you an experiment that will help you see the difference between having cut the seed and not. So this is a seed that is intact, this is the one that is cut, and at the end of the experiment, you will see the difference between one and the other. Consider that the seeds were taken from the same fruit and are more or less the same size. So get some pads. These ones are the ones you use to remove makeup, but paper towels would also work just as well. Create a base on which you can then place the seeds. Take this one, the seed we did not cut, and place it here on the left. Then place this one, the seed we cut and can clearly be seen, on the right. Then take 2 more pads and cover the first one. Before covering the second one, we will cut one of the pads so we do not confuse the two during the operation. So, remove this cut pad and cover the cut seed. Then take a spray bottle and spray the pads so they are just slightly damp, not soaked. Once this is done, close the container and place it in a place where it gets plenty of light. Yes, but not direct sunlight, because too much sunlight inside could raise the temperature too high and literally cook the seeds. First results. After just 7 days, we take everything back and open it up to see what actually happened inside. So let's remove the lid. First, this one, which is not treated. And look here, you still cannot see anything. There are no sprouts. Now let's try the other one. Here it is. Here instead, where we removed the tip, look at how it has grown. There is even a sprout in addition to the root. I would say the result, at least so far, is truly perfect. We have worked out the germination times, and to better show you how everything developed, I will change the shot and bring the seed closer. Look, you can clearly see the small sprout, about 1.5 centimeters tall, with 2 small leaves at the tip. At the base, a well-articulated root with a primary and secondary root. And at this point where we made the cut, you can clearly see that it has opened, allowing both the sprout and the roots to emerge effortlessly. I can say this is a truly incredible result, especially considering that the other seed still has neither roots nor sprouts. This, like all citrus, is a plant that greatly tolerates waterlogging, so the ideal soil for growing the seedling, especially in its first few days, is obtained by mixing it with universal potting soil. However, I recommend using a very soft, well-draining, and good quality soil. It also contains expanded clay if you can manage a diameter of less than a centimeter. The ideal ratio is 20% expanded clay and 80% potting soil. At this point, all that is left to do is place it in a small pot with soil, Find a pot with a diameter of between 5 and 10 centimeter, as filling it with the mix we just prepared will be more than sufficient. Then using a spoon, make a hole in the center about 3 to 4 centimeter deep. It is a really simple and quick process. Take the seed, making sure the root is facing downwards and the shoot is facing upwards, and insert it this way. Look, place it and tamp the soil all around. If you can, leave the little shoot out like this. Then take a spray bottle and water everything thoroughly. Make sure the soil is really soaked the first time. Subsequent times, water only when the soil starts to dry out. Growth and development of the seedlings. Removing the pot after 3 days, you can see that the plant is not only growing, but is absolutely healthy and vital. It is about 1.5 centimeters tall and has 2 small leaves developing at the top. So this is truly excellent news, especially considering that the first phase is the most delicate, especially the repotting, the transition from cotton to soil, because that is when it could suffer some damage from repotting. And in this case, I did not experience any. After 20 days, the seedling has grown to about 3 centimeters tall. The leaflets have grown significantly, and a new shoot is even starting to form in the center of them, and that is where the plant will grow. By day 60, the plant has grown and literally exploded. There are now 4 leaflets, but remember that this very rapid growth only occurs in the first few months of life. In fact, by day 90, the plant, while still growing taller, grows much less. This is because nature is incredible and perfect, and dictates that if a plant does not have the roots to grow, it risks dying. Therefore, it will tend to develop its root system first within the soil, and once that has developed, it will also allow the seedling to grow above the soil line. Exactly a year after I began the experiment by replanting the seedling, this is what I have achieved. It is a beautiful plant, about 20 centimeters tall. The fact that it is beautiful is an added bonus, but the main thing is that it is healthy. In fact, there is no trace of fungus, mold, or bacteria on the root ball, the stem, or the leaves, either above or below. So I would say it is an excellent result. All that is left to do is continue caring for it and wait for it to start producing its first flowers and fruit. In the meantime, however, I recommend avoiding strong, direct sunlight until it is small, as too much could dry it out. After about 3 to 4 years, the plant will become an adult and begin producing its first flowers and fruit. But remember that the mathematical certainty that this plant will actually flower can only be achieved through grafting. And unfortunately, citrus fruits, among those plants grown from seed, will almost certainly need grafting. Grafting is a very simple operation, but in case you do not know how, I will link to the video where I demonstrate it in the information box and in the first comment. So if you do not know how, check it out, and when the plant starts flowering, it will be a snap to go from flowers to fruit. Grafting will gradually develop, grow, and in a very short time, become excellent fruit to harvest. Keep in mind that once the plant begins producing fruit, it will do so for its entire life. And that concludes the video. I hope you learned something new, useful, and fun. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment, like, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. This will not cost you anything, but it is really important to me because it will help me grow it. So, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that if you enjoyed this video, check out the channel too, because I am pretty sure you will find something nice among all the videos I have uploaded. So, with that said, goodbye and see you next time. If this guide on transforming a simple lemon seed into a flourishing tree has changed the way you look at the potential in your own kitchen, please subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the natural history and secrets that have been hidden for too long. Let's plant the seeds of the future together. The next treasure of nature will be revealed very soon.